On this episode of Life is Good, we are talking about a very important topic: how to boost your immunity with Dr. Jeff Chamberlain. When this time comes around every year, beginning of the fall, a lot of people get sick because their immunity systems take a hit. Mm. And Dr. Jeff Chamberlain is going to help us prepare our immunity systems so that we can fight any battles. Welcome to the show, Dr. Jeff Chamberlain. How are you today?
I am great, Bipin. Thank you for having me. I am excited to talk about this.
I know. This is something that is so near and dear to your heart.
Amen.
So tell us, why do we feel like we are weakened when this time comes around?
Yeah. Well, it's a misunderstanding, first and foremost. So in order for us to do better, we have to understand better, right? So first and foremost, I want to dispel the biggest myth of all. And that is that at this time of year, the flu bug flies in, right? They're all flying in big droves here to make us sick. And that is not true. So what happens is this time of year, especially in this area of the country, everything changes a lot. And we're human beings that are part of our environment, right? So we're energetically part of the trees and the environment and everything else that goes on. So what we have to understand is right now, the environment is going through big change. Like, here's one simple thing. First of all, I'm going to ask you this, Bipin, and you tell me what you know. What is the body temperature that you need to maintain 24/7?
I don't know, 96.4 something.
98.6.
98.6.
Now, let's think about that number. That's a very specific number. It's 99 is not great. 98, not so good. 98.6 is what keeps us super efficient, right? Keeps our system working at a very high level. Now, it's right now, like this past week, it was 40 in the morning, 41, 42, and it got up to 70 something. That's a swing of 30 some degrees. What is your body going to have to do with that? Especially, if you're like most that look at the weather, right? They look on their app, they look at the weather and they go, oh, it's going to be 71 today. Great. So they may put on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and go on their day. And guess what? They're walking into 41, 42 degree weather. Their core temperature now has to generate a tremendous amount of energy to get their body back up to 98.6 and maintain that. Where is that energy being stolen from? Their immune system. So now their immune system will start to drop a little bit. Okay. Now here's something else. Right now, the leaves are starting to change. I have windows all around me, so I'm looking at my awesome property that has all kinds of trees and stuff. So the trees are starting to get a little bit yellowish, a little bit brown, right? So they're losing the green. Do you know what the green is?
Chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is one molecule different than hemoglobin in our bodies. We have hemoglobin. Now, hemoglobin, do you know what hemoglobin does?
It energizes our, it provides iron and keeps the body moving.
So heme is a molecule and iron is part of it. But this whole purpose is to be a little cage that handles oxygen. It holds oxygen, holds oxygen, and then it carries it throughout your body to all the areas that need oxygen. So right now, chlorophyll is leaving the trees. Now, trees and foliage create oxygen in our environment. So our oxygen is going down in the environment. That means CO2 is going up. Our bodies also have to adapt to that. And the list goes on and on and on of all the things we have to adapt to, which steals energy from our immune system. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, whoever's watching this, that, okay, so my energy is going down. It means my immune system is going down. Well, what's making me sick? Well, guess what? What's making you sick is already within you. Doesn't come from without. Interesting fact, mid-1800s, the germ theory by which our medical society runs off of right now was disproved in the mid-1800s. So germs don't come into you and make you sick. Your immune system drops, and your own bacteria and viruses that now are allowed to get out of check start to overwhelm the system, right? So when that overwhelms the system, here's another question for you. And this is all concept for our audience, right? So they understand it. So do you remember the last time you were sick, Bipin, like head cold and snotty and all that stuff? Do you remember that? Okay. Yeah. So when you were just full of congestion, you know, not to be gross, but you're kicking up the greeny stuff, you know, the thick stuff. And maybe you're also running out of the body, you know, you're spending time on the toilet, right? Were you in the middle of the disease, or were you at the end of the disease?
I would say middle of the disease.
You're at the end of the disease. I know I'm quizzing you a lot today. You're at the end of the disease. So understand this. When your body is under attack, first thing that happens, first line of defense, is your immune system kicks in because of your nervous system, and it starts to go, oh, we are in trouble over here. Our bacteria and our viruses are out of check, and they're going after something, right? So then it has to regulate things. That's where your white blood cells come in and all those different things happen, right? But what happens is once your immune system kicks in and starts to get everything in check and kills a bunch of things, there's dead soldiers lying all over the field. So now your body has to clean up through the macrophage activity, clean up those dead soldiers, the dead bacteria and viruses, and get them out of your system. That's the thick, greeny stuff, the stuff in your sinuses and in your chest. That's what's going on. So you're actually at the end of the disease. Your body did a great job. However, we don't like it because it feels horrible. And that's typically when we go to the doctor to get a bunch of stuff where we're already passing through it. And most of the stuff you're going to get there is to make your symptoms feel better, not to help your immune system. And over time, doing that repeatedly will suppress your immune system even more. Antibiotics are known through all research for the last 40 years that they actually may help you in that moment, but repeated use decreases your immune system, making you a sicker person over time. Right. So that's the concept.
So how do we plan to reduce the stress that is causing the body with this manifestation of symptoms at the end of the stage?
Yeah. So let's talk about, not in that situation, let's talk about how we can prevent this from even getting there.
Right.
I haven't been sick, not cold, nothing for eons. And a lot of my patients now, they don't get sick this time of year. A lot of their kids don't get sick this time of year. But wait a second, all kids get sick when they go back to school. What a fallacy that is, right? Yeah, the sick kids do. So we have to make sure they're not sick going into this situation. The first thing I'll tell you is keep your core temperature as close to 98.6 as possible. So you're going to make sure that if it's a 40 morning, even we're supposed to have, I think, in the 30s this week in the morning, right? Maybe go up to 68, 70 in the afternoon. You're going to wear a jacket. You're going to keep your core temperature. Even right now, look at me. I got my little thing on, right? Yeah. So this is my fall attire. I'm keeping my core temperature at 98.6. Now, You may have noticed this, Bippin, because you've been with me for a little bit of time, that there's less up here than there used to be, right? So my God-given hat is going away. So this time of year, I wear a hat. Even now, it's beginning of October. On my way to work in the morning, I have a jacket. I'm wearing an actual hat, my little wool hat. So I'm always keeping my core temperature in. You lose a lot of your core temperature at your wrist area and at your head. So I keep those two areas nice and warm, and I keep this area nice and warm. So my body doesn't have to work hard. It's ready for anything that's changing. So that's the first thing I would say.
Right.
Guess what's happening this time of year? We got a big holiday coming up at the end of this month.
Yep.
Yeah.
Halloween,
which is not my favorite holiday at all. I think it's something that starts the destruction process of our holidays, right? So what do we usually eat during Halloween?
Sugar.
1 tablespoon of sugar. 1 decreases your immune system by 8 times. So we got to stay away from the sugar, folks, because we're hitting Halloween, which takes us into what? Thanksgiving, which takes us into what?
Christmas, holiday, New Year. Yeah.
All sugar, right? So we have to stay away from the sugar. I know some of you are actually addicted to sugar at this time, and that's a whole other thing that I can help people with, and I do every day. But that's another thing to help decrease it, right? So I make sure I increase my water. I make sure I'm increasing my minerals. I'm decreasing my sugars. I'm making sure I'm keeping my core temperature in. Those are and you know what else? We're losing sunlight.
Yeah.
So I think, Bippin, you came to this class I did on sunshine. Sunshine is vital to human existence. And we've been told that it destroys the body and it's bad for your skin and everything else. And none of that's true. It's what we're blocking the sun now through our sunglasses, through suntan lotion, all the other stuff. So we're not getting proper sunlight. Now we're losing sunlight. That also affects you. So you need to do better with your rest and your sleep. Those are just the basics, right?
Absolutely.
Now there's another side to this. I make sure supplementation wise, I'm upping my supplementation from about late September to end of March. So I'm increasing my vitamin C. I'm increasing my zinc, right? I'm making sure and there's a lot of other things, but those are the two main ones that I make sure are a little bit higher this time of year because sugar actually destroys all of those. So if you're not doing those things and you're taking a lot of sugar, you're not giving your immune system even a chance. Now, here's something else, and you can stop me if you have a question because I can go on about this. We could be on here for an hour and a half. Right? But here's something most people don't understand. Inside your body right now, every human watching this podcast, you have approximately 60 trillion bacteria. Okay, 60 trillion. You also have approximately 380 trillion viruses in your body. Now, the cells that are truly Bippin, that are uniquely Bippin's DNA, you only have about 30 trillion. So you are 3 times more another entity than you are yourself. What you need to understand is that works synergistically to make you strong, healthy, and vibrant. We have to work synergistically with this bacteria and viruses. Right. But when our immune system goes down, mom and dad are no longer in the house. So the kids party and they bring friends and they party and they reproduce and they put, same thing in our body. When the immune system drops, dad's not there anymore. So now certain bacteria proliferate, right? Especially the bad ones. Bad bacteria gets in there and starts to really proliferate. And then we start to really not feel well. And that's what happens. So the symptom usually shows up after we're overwhelmed, after the dis-ease process is already there. right? So we got to do what we can to make sure we're giving our immune system a chance.
Right. And then you mentioned some of the things that hurt our immune system. One, you mentioned sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also talk about some other harmful products that we consume should be kept out.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, again, that's a whole other class that we'll have to do
right.
together.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's
No, I
just do a
understand.
little bit. So sugar's the biggest one, right? But any
Yeah.
processed chemicals, like we have so many processed chemicals in our body that are made to decrease your immune system. And I'll just throw another quick thing in there that if anyone's watching this podcast and they watch TV, which I'm sure there's one or two that watch TV, when you're watching the TV and you're seeing all the commercials on now, I hope that you are paying attention to those pharmaceutical commercials and really listening to what they're saying. Every single one gives you disclaimers. And almost every single one tells you decreased immune system. These drugs are going to, yes, they may handle your symptom for a short period of time, but they're also destroying your immune system. Right? So we want to try to stay away from as many pharmaceuticals as we can, stay away from the sugar, but also look at our food and look at all the names in our food. Most of those are hormone disruptors, right? So if we can't pronounce it and we can't grow it in our backyard, don't put it in your body.
Exactly. And I had read somebody say that if you see something advertised, stay away from it. Food that we cook at home is never advertised.
That's a good point.
Cookies, cakes, ice creams,
yes,
cereals, they are all advertised because there is not you can grow in your garden or in a farm.
Yes. Yeah. I've never seen a commercial for, hey, buy these rutabagas because they're, you're exactly right. And that's a really great point. We want, the old saying goes, when you go to the grocery store, you only walk around the perimeter. Don't go in any of the aisles.
Yeah.
Because that's processed dead food. Even I'll say this, anyone watching this, you should be eating more live foods, more raw type foods, right? So when you're cooking it to death and you're using seed oils and all these things, you're not putting vibrant life into your body. You're eating dead foods, right? So there's just so much to talk about on that subject.
Right. And then removing harmful products from our consumption. You had also mentioned about reducing drug usage and reducing alcohol use, along with sugar and all that. That does affect our immunity. So
100%.
Right. So now, what are the few things that can boost our immunity? I know you mentioned about eating fresh food that is not processed, live food. So fruits, vegetables, grains.
Yes.
Can you elaborate that? And what other items?
Let me back up a second, and then we'll get back to that. So I think it's important for your audience to understand that health and healing is about energy. Okay, it's about energy. That's why it's important to get more sunshine. But also, energy comes from within. So the more you're moving your body, huge during the winter, because guess what? We get more sedentary during the winter, which also suppresses our immune system. So there's all kinds of things you can do at home. There's walking up and down your steps if you don't want to go outside. There's buying what's called vibe plates, which are very cheap now, where you can do exercise just standing on a vibration plate and really get in 10 minutes, get a 20 to 30 minute workout that gets your energy up, right? So it's about the energy. Then we can talk about the food, right? Get your energy up, rest, keep your core temperature in. Now let's talk about the food. Now I forget your question.
So, which nutrients or which herbs or
Yeah.
such fresh items that we most homes have in the kitchen?
Yeah.
What can be used to help our immune system cope with all the stress?
Yeah. So one most wonderful ones is garlic,
Right.
huge immune booster.
Yes. Yes.
Lemons,
Yes.
lemons, big immune booster, right? So every morning I take organic lemons. We always have them in the fridge. I cut
Mhm.
one in half and I squeeze that into my water, and I have
Right.
at least 8 to 10 ounces of water with my lemon in it every morning. That's an
Yeah.
immune booster. They have enzymes in there that boost the immune system. So we got lemons, we got uh, garlic, we got ginger.
Right.
Man,
Right.
shaving
Yeah.
ginger and stuff. Oh, it's just so good for your immune system, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
your greens, right? Your
Hmm.
kales, your spinaches, and things like that nature. Of course, try to buy organic if you can.
Right.
And all that means, just so the audience understands, I have a lot of older patients, as you may know. And a lot of times, like, I don't believe in all that organic stuff. And I always laugh when they say that. I say, well, Bob, you spent your entire life eating organic. He's like, what do you mean? I said, up until the 80s, before they allowed our government allowed genetically modified
Yeah.
products,
Yeah.
all you did was eat organic.
Hmm.
So organic, just so you guys understand what that truly means, organic means that we're growing product in soil that hasn't been tainted by chemicals for over 30 years.
Right.
So when you're buying organic, yes, it may be a little bit more expensive. Part of that is
Yes.
because you know they got you, you want it. But the other part of that is these farms have to change out their soil and bring soil in there that is chemical free. And then once they do that, they cultivate it and try to keep chemicals out of there. But that's very important. Organic is important because you have a higher nutrient value in that fresh produce. Now it's
Right.
winter time, so we're getting away from fruits because fruits don't grow this time of year here. If you've lived here for any more than 5, 6, 7 years, your body is adapting to this environment. So you want to kind of eat what this environment would produce.
Hmm.
So if you're buying a lot of fruits now, they're not in season. That means they're on a truck. They're coming from California. They've probably been sprayed. You know what I mean? So you got
Yeah.
to think about that kind of stuff.
Right. Right. And you already mentioned moving the body is another very important thing, and
Huge.
huge, huge, absolutely. And then you had also mentioned about how the nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
in conjunction, helps build and sustain your immunity.
Yeah, it doesn't. It is the hub. It's the communication system for your immunity, right? So, again, if anyone's forgotten, I'm a chiropractor. I was a biochemist first, so nutrition is a big part of my practice. But chiropractic is the foundation, right? So our job in chiropractic, if you're seeing a chiropractor right now, remind him of his or her job. Their job is to remove interference with the nervous system because that's where God's potential lives. That's where all the life force energy flows from and goes to every organ. People don't realize this. Your immune system is your organ system in a beautiful, harmonious, doing this musical dance together, right? So it's your brain, it's your spleen, it's your liver, it's your stomach, it's your skin, it's your kidneys, it's your pancreas. They're all working together to really enhance your immune system. When your nervous system is not able to communicate with them fully because it's being blocked, whether it's because your spine's all out of whack or what have you, it can't do the diagnostic to go, hey, this is Houston control. Oh, I see we have some imbalance over there. We need to send some troops over there. And that's your immune system, your IgEs, your IgAs, your biochemistry. We need to send it there, right? And then if we recurringly have an issue over there, hey, not only do we need to send it there, I need to send troops permanently over there that understand that particular system. And that's how your body starts to mark those things that attack your body and is now aware of it. So when it comes in your body the next time, it reacts immediately, right? So the immune system doesn't work without the nervous system.
Absolutely. So let us summarize how our audience can take care of their health during these difficult times, because you feel you are under attack because of all the factors that you mentioned. So if you can summarize that in like a couple minutes as we get towards the end of the show.
Yes. And as I summarize, I'm going to add a little bit too, because there's a lot of things we kind of missed, but I'm going to add to it. So the first and foremost, I hope everyone gets there. I wish I could see your live audience and I would start to ask them questions, right? So we need to keep our core temperature in. Keep our core temperature in.
Yes.
Get a little bit more rest, right? Make sure you're sleeping, because right now we're into the stressful season too. So you're being stressed out because of the changing environment. And there's more days that are off. So more work in those short days, more parties are showing up. All these things are happening. So our stress is higher. So I want to say, learn to say no. You know what's right for your body. Learn to say no. So keep your core temperature in, get plenty of rest. Make sure you're not overdoing it, right? I'm going to add something in there. If you're not someone who's a meditator or someone who takes the time to just even 10 minutes a day to just do deep diaphragmatic breathing and be quiet, man, start doing that, because that is a key to helping your vagus nerve, helping your immune system, quiet your sympathetic nervous system, which is a whole other class, right? Those things are important. Stay away from the sugar, number 5. You would think that'd be number 1, but we're going to make that number 5. Stay away from the sugars. Stay away from the processed foods as much as you humanly can, right?
Right.
Move your body, right? Again, move your body. That one should be over here, right? Move your body. So there's 7 things anybody can do right now that doesn't cost them a dime to change your energy, change your immune system, and start to feel your age or better. I'm 60 years old. I feel like I'm 18 half the time, right? That's because I live these things. I do these things and I live them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a pretty good summary, but I'm going to add one more thing to it. There are specific organic non-GMO supplementation you can add in that really boosts your immune system. We talked about the zinc and the vitamin C, but we have 2 products that I really wanted to talk about in this class today. One's called Congaplex by Standard Process. The other one's called Immuplex, also by Standard Process. Man, these products are miracle products. They're non-GMO, organic. They come from food. They're a tier 1 product, which means they're only one step away from the produce that comes out of the ground. And you put these things in there. Congaplex is like Pac-Man. For those of you watching who remember Pac-Man, it just goes and it finds bacteria and eats them right up, right? Wonderful product. Immuplex boosts the immune system and also keeps viruses in check, right? So I start taking those 2 products in late September, and I don't stop taking them until March. And that's another big part of my keeping my immune system very high, because for me personally, not only do I want to do that, but I have all kinds of sick people around me all day long. Now, they can't get me sick because they don't give me germs. My immune system's good. However, their stress and their energy requires more of my energy. So my energy may go down. So I use everything I can to keep my energy up here.
Absolutely.
Was that helpful or was that too much?
Yeah. No. I think that is great. That is great. A lot of great information as always. And I appreciate you joining us. So
always a pleasure.
Dr. Jeff and I, we are committed to doing more such shows to you to help you live a better life.
Amen.
There are a lot of stresses in our life surrounding us, and
And a lot of misunderstanding, Vipin. That's the thing.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
more you understand how God designed your body, man, the better you're going to do, because you'll be in charge. You'll be able to take responsibility.
Absolutely. So I look forward to having you back to do more shows that, on different topics that can help the community. And thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Bipin, always. Good to see you.
Have a good one. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.